I'm delighted with the guys, the way they've been playing their cricket right from the time we started in Bulawayo at that qualifiers. We talked right at the start on the first couple of days of practice down in Bulawayo about the brand of cricket we wanted to play. Certainly the brand of cricket I want to play, which is one where we are positive all the time. We take the positive option as often as we can, and we never give in on that. And I think even the game we lost on Sunday, from a position of 40 for 5 after 10 overs, we got 136. So there was great positives in it within that game. The fact we lost the game, we were still able to draw on some of the strength that we had, and it showed again today. We were in a tricky position, and a couple of players came down the order later on and got us a match-winning score. So I'm happy with the brand of cricket we're playing, and I certainly won't get tired of winning. So I hope it carries on for some time.
That's right. So a good series win, the first against Bangladesh, the first on home soil. How important do you think this is, especially now that you're looking forward to an ODI series as well as India coming on tour?
Yeah, I think when we talked about our schedule over the next month and a half or so, we've come from playing an associate member tournament basically, and then we've come up against Bangladesh, who we know are a good side, particularly good at white ball cricket. And then straight after that we take on India and Australia. I mean, it just couldn't get any harder. So I'm looking for some successes in these one-day series. Of course, it's nice to go into it with a bit of confidence, having won the T20s, but we haven't played a 50-over game of cricket for a long time. Or I certainly haven't been involved with these guys in a 50-over game for a long time. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm looking for some success in the one-day stuff as well. And I hope we can take the series.
Yes, Larry.
A lot of people are saying this was just associate member nations when it was the run in Bulawayo. How does it feel like now saying, okay, we're playing against a full test full member nation and we performing the same?
Yeah, it's little steps for us, So we don't want to get too carried away with the fact that we've been winning for 2 weeks. When we start getting consistently good over a period of 1-2 years, then we can start looking at where our progress is taking us. At the moment, we've won a T20 series and we've qualified for the World T20 qualification stage. So we haven't exactly climbed Everest yet, but we certainly got ourselves to base camp.
And the fact that what was the reason behind the changes today?
I've got to be a little bit careful with Richie. He came back from a stress fracture and we sort of rushed him back a little bit to make sure we had him available for the qualifiers. He's played non-stop since then, so we had to monitor his workload. That's why he was set out. TK's had the first 2 games. I wanted to see what we could get out of Victor and Brad Evans. It's important for us that we're not just a good 11. We've got to be a good squad. And I've said to the guys a number of times, we can change our players within that squad and we should have no different standard out in the middle. And I think today was a good example of that. And, Johnny Massara came in. Wellington's been carrying a niggly shoulder for the last 2 months. So the opportunity to leave him out, give Johnny Massara a go, we take it. The big thing for me is, like I said just now, we can't just be 11 people because we won't survive like that. We have to have a squad that can play. My practices leading up to all these games, I have a squad of 20. And I reckon I could pick 11 from those 20. Any formula you want and they'd all produce the same.
It seems there's a fighting spirit in the team. What have you been telling your players since you took over?
It's perhaps what I'm not telling them is the secret to the whole thing. I'm not just now, but even in my own playing time, we were a side that, if the chips were down, we would play our cricket in such a way to save face. Just don't get bowled out in 20 overs. If you only get 110, it's okay. And I don't want our guys playing like that. And all I've said to our guys is they will never get any admonishment for me getting out playing an aggressive shot. And if the shot doesn't work and you lose your wicket, learn from that and next time choose a different option. But you're not going to get any admonishment from me. I want you to put your foot down on the accelerator and be positive at every opportunity. So that's what's happening. These guys know they can go and play their game. They have no fear that if we lose, they're going to come in and get a round of abuse from me as a coach. If we lose, it's a learning experience. It's not something to be depressed about.
Dave, there's a narrative going around the Dave Houghton effect. People talking about the impact that you've had on the team since you came in. As a coach, how much credit do you take for the turnaround that Zimbabwe has gone through, and what do you put that down to in terms of the key areas that the team has improved on to be able to get this run of form that we're in?
Sure. Duncan Fletcher was my first captain and he was one of the greatest coaches around, and still, if he was coaching now, he still would be. He used to say, how much do you think of your percentage of your game belongs to the coach? Or, is the coach's input? And when we didn't answer, he said, well, 90% is the player, 5% is the coach, and 5% is luck. So in terms of who takes the credit for this, I think I explained it just now. It's probably more of what I don't do than what I do that gives these guys the confidence to go and play their game the way they're playing it. And from my point of view, when you come into a side, I've seen these guys play before in franchise cricket and locally. They've got extremely good skills. All they needed was someone to unlock the door that would make them use the skills out in the middle. And that's all I've tried to do by freeing them up. No admonishment for bad play, anything like that. Get out there, be positive, take the right option every time and think clearly. So in answer to your question right from the start, I think I've had 5% to do with it.
Okay, I'll take the last two.
Okay, Jeff, from a position of sort of a spot of order, the 6 for 6, the team managing to rally itself back and getting to a good total. What does this say about the processes of where you want to be as a team?
It's fantastic because, again, going back to some of my earlier chats with the guys and wanting us to play the positive way, they have to understand that we can lose wickets like that and we can get into trouble like that, and we have to have belief in our whole squad. So for me, Ryan Burl and Jongwe, Luke, they played a fantastic innings. We still had Brad Evans and we still had somebody else. Until we're 10 wickets down, I'm not going to lose faith in the fact that we can go out there and still put a score on the board. And I think those guys just proved it today. I think almost every game in the last, how many have we played now? Probably 8 if you count the qualifiers and these 3. I think Luke Jongwe's got better in every single game. And I think now he's the type of guy, certainly me, if I was a franchise T20 specialist coach in any one of these big tournaments, I'd be looking at him. He's a very, very good cricketer now.
Okay, last one.
Mine are quick ones. You haven't done ODI, this is the first one. What's the plan for that? And secondly, given you've seen the fans here as well, what you've got to say to the fans and as far as the support?
Well, I'm going to answer the second one first because I think the fan support has been amazing. Honestly, Bulawayo here at the weekend, here on a Tuesday afternoon, we've got 50% of a crowd in. It's stunning. And it's great to have them behind us all the time. The guys love it. On the 50 over stuff, first thing I'm going to do is go and read the rules because I haven't played one for a long time. And then we're just going to practice the way we normally practice. We'll have a day off tomorrow and then day off on a practice on Thursday. There'll be no change to the way we play, but it's obviously a longer game. So there's got to be a little bit more from the players themselves where they're actually learning to build a big total rather than try and smash it around in T20 cricket.